Hello and welcome to another episode of the Business of Business podcast. I'm Roy, your host. We are the podcast that brings a wide variety of guests that talks about a diverse group of topics related to businesses, entrepreneurs, solopreneurs, small and large businesses alike. And today we've got an awesome guest lined up. I've been waiting for the last couple weeks to get to talk to Keith Monahan. He's the author of Easy Email Marketing, 10 Simple Steps for Creating and Sending Email Your Customers Will Love. Also, he created and managed email marketing campaigns to millions of subscribers for companies like NBC Television, Lucasfilms. Yep, those are the Star Wars people, and many technology companies. To his surprise, help with email marketing is still a common request he gets from his clients and friends. That's why he wrote this latest ebook. Also, he has previously to that, he wrote an ebook called 15 Cost-Free Marketing Ideas, How to Engage Customers and Spread the Word for Free. So, Keith, thanks so much for taking time out of your day to be with us. We certainly do appreciate it.
I'm happy to be here, Roy. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, email marketing, I think that's one place it's difficult. We want to write good, concise emails, but I don't know that we always structure them. And so that's one reason why, excited to have you on as a guest. And I think it's become an overlooked art of how to grab people's attention and get them to actually open those emails up.
I think you're right, and that's why I wrote the book, and that's why I'm getting the word out on it. So maybe I'll back up and start about why I think email is so valuable,
okay,
and why maybe you want to consider it before social media, which is also valuable. But consider the fact that the research shows that approximately 58% of adults open email first thing in the morning, before social media, before work stuff, before they open the news. They check email. That's pretty profound.
Right.
I can't think of another medium that people are checking first thing in the morning, other than maybe their alarm clock.
Right, right.
Secondly, we all have it. Everyone has email. Even my kids who are young and in college and hate email, they live with it day by day because their instructors insist they do. They're always in the inbox.
Yeah.
And thirdly, it is really effective, right? So there's the old adage in business, it's easier to sell more to your existing customer than it is to get new customers.
Right.
Well, email marketing is really, really effective for that.
Yeah.
There are various papers out there showing the return on investment, what you get for every dollar you spend in email marketing. It's roughly between $30 and $40 back for every dollar you spend. And now that's probably the ideal case. It's not going to happen every time, but on average, over the course of a quarter or a year, you're probably going to look at a pretty good return on that.
Yeah.
And I'm here to show people that it can be done very easily in 10 simple steps that are super easy to understand. Each step in my book is like talking to a friend who knows marketing email. That's me. Yeah. And you can read the steps in the less time than it takes to drink your favorite beverage. So you'll be up and running. You'll have better email than your competitors. Your customers are going to like it. It's going to be valuable to them. And most of all, I'm going to show you how to do it for free without paying anything. And I think in a time like this, where businesses are really challenged to reach customers, email is an ideal way to do that.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think I'll speak for myself. I've become kind of desensitized to the social media emails because it's typically some kind of a scam or a funny, cat video, or it's more personal than professional. But with emails, I'm always more attentive to them. Let me put it that way. So, speaking from myself, I'm much more apt to open an email from you than if you sent me that same message through social media some way.
Yeah, I think you bring up a really good point, and that's something else that research has shown since I got into this way back in the late 90s when the internet was new and shiny.
Right.
People take their inbox personally. We take it very seriously. We take it personally. It's a reflection of who we are. We're very specific about what we let in, who we let in.
Right.
And if someone lets you into their inbox, my feeling is that they're willing to have a relationship with you and your company and what you do.
Yeah.
And man, that is so valuable.
Yeah. No, and I think that's a good point that you make, because the next step, that kind of leads us into is that you've given me that opening. And so we need to have respect for that as well. We, as the sender of those emails, we need to respect that somebody has let us in, and we really need to take care and nurture that relationship, because it's just about as easy for me to, if you don't, when I see your name roll up, you just get to delete without even looking at the body of the email, or worse yet, get on the block list where I don't see them at all.
Right. And that's another great point that you bring up is, a lot of people think marketing, and especially email marketing, is kind of a spray and pray strategy, right? I'm going to blast this out to millions of people. They're all going to love me. They're going to buy all my stuff. No, no, people will hate you.
Yeah.
They will block you. They will delete you. They will mark you as spam. And then you are in deep trouble because you can't get past the spam filters.
Right.
Like we talked about before, like you brought up before, someone's inbox is very personal. And when they invite you in, you need to think about it that way, in that it's no different, I believe, in a customer's mind than you sitting across from the table from them and saying, here's how I can help you, right? Providing value. Here's how I can help you. What can I do for you? I'm listening.
Yeah.
Spray and pray is never the way to go with email. And related to that, you never want to send emails to people who have not explicitly opted into your email.
Yeah.
And your existing customers have. They've already indicated they like you, maybe even love you and want to spread the word.
Right.
Well, your marketing email is a perfect chance to give them something to spread and talk about how great you are.
Yeah. Yeah, the other part, I think too, is thoughtfulness, not only on the sheer volume that we send people, but the message. And this was a jumping off point on one of my pet peeves is the message goes similar to this. Well, besides the, hey, I'm Captain so-and-so from England, and you've got a ton of money I would like for you to come claim.
Right.
But yeah, we'll just put that one aside for a minute. But
by the way, don't market that way.
Yeah, right. But the one that gets me is like, me and you, we had a conversation about my product a week or two ago, and so, hey, the email is, I reach out and said, hey Keith, this is Roy, circling back with you. You ready to buy yet? and
Right.
Those are the ones that they get the instant delete, and unfortunately,
right.
I really don't pay. I may not block them, but I don't pay attention to them with anything coming forward, and so that's the other
Absolutely.
thing. We have to think that message out, and I feel like I'm an educator, and so that's one thing. And I'll let you tell some tips. I don't want to even pretend to be the expert here, but one thing I like to do is deliver value. Is not always, and we have to sell at some point. We have to ask for the buy. I get that, but I think we have to educate, and I guess in the old agrarian society, we planted, we cultivated, and then we reaped. And in the internet age, I think we've gone from, sometimes we don't even plant. Sometimes we throw a seed out somewhere, and then we're trying to reap a harvest. And it's not that easy. And so instead of coming at me, initially with let's buy, educate me. Why do I want to buy from you? Why do I want your product? There's a lot of ways that we can go with. I kind of let you talk about that if you don't mind.
Well, that's if I'm an expert in any sense, it's because I've spent the last 20 years learning the hard way.
Yeah.
Right. Banging my head against the problem.
Right.
So I'm here to help you and your listeners gain the benefit of that without having to hurt their head like I did, knocking it against rocks and figuring things out. Yeah. So as far as your example goes, with the salesperson coming back around to push the hard sell, I would just offer real quick off the top of my head that a solution to that, if you're a salesperson or you're following up, is to not mention the product at all. Maybe send a link to an article that's kind of related to what your customer is going through. Hey, I thought you'd like to see this. Keep providing valuable information. Yeah. Maybe it's related to the sale you want or not. But I truly think that's worth a few minutes every week over time far more than circling back around and pushing for the hard sale.
Yep.
And excuse me, your agrarian metaphor is great, because I think you're right in that social media the strategy tends to be kind of like a, excuse me, boy.
Yeah.
Like a dandelion, right? It grows in your yard, the wind blows, the seeds disperse everywhere, and the dandelion hopes that maybe one or two land and plant and
Right.
reproduce. Whereas email is cultivating a relationship.
Right.
You're sowing, you're planting individual seeds, you're being thoughtful about where you put them, you're taking care of them, and you're nurturing that your list of customers along the way. And there's a little more work up front.
Yep.
If you're lazy, you want to just throw your seeds out there, your marketing messages out there and hope for the best, well, great. There are plenty of people who take your money to do that,
right.
but don't expect a lot of good results.
Yep.
It's not going to result in a magic sales achievement.
Yeah.
It's not going to happen. But cultivating all your marketing, social media, but especially email, the rewards just multiply exponentially when it comes around to harvest time, to push the metaphor even further.
Yeah.
When people decide to buy, either implicitly or explicitly, they're going to remember the way you treated them, and that nurturing, and you providing value. Maybe they don't read every email you send out, but gosh darn it, that's all going to add up to a positive experience, a positive impression of you, being helpful. And at some point, one of those coupons or sales or how-to emails you send about your product is going to click, and the people will literally click over and make the purchase.
Yeah, because the other part of that equation is that sometimes we don't really know where the people that receive our email are in that buying process. And it's not that I have anything against you and your product. I just don't need it today. And so if we burn that relationship today because you had to have the sale, you've lost me in 3 months from now when I do have a need and I'm going to be a purchaser. And I say that
exactly. And it's go ahead.
No, you're fine. Go ahead.
It's a scary proposition, right? Especially if you're a small business or side hustler and you're sending out social media posts and marketing email and you're making phone calls. The thought of saying one wrong thing or kind of pushing too hard and losing the sale is terrifying.
Yeah.
Your numbers aren't big enough. Your audience isn't big enough to lose that many sales.
Yeah.
I would counter that and encourage people to feel positive about what they're doing if the focus is friendly and helpful and encouraging and no pressure at all.
Yeah.
I mean, the companies that I follow, the newsletters that I read every day that I can't wait to read, are the ones that offer me valuable information on whatever topic they're about, and they don't push me for anything. I often have to look for the pitch at the end. Hey, if you like what we're doing, we're selling this, or 20% off, right?
Right.
It's not a hard sell, and I think that's just as much indicative of email and the personal nature of the inbox as it is to a cultural shift that we're going through.
Yeah.
The used car salesman is out.
Right.
The soft touch, hey, how can I help person is in.
Yeah.
And if you can do that in any of your marketing, especially email, you're going to do really well.
Yeah. And so what about the theory that some of this is also based on the complexity of our product or service or the cost? I think that if sometimes if you're pushing a $5 item that people use all the time, you can be probably a little more aggressive than if you're selling a complex system, where people need to be educated. I need to know more about what this does, what it is. So again, it kind of helps us develop our time horizon and our messaging that we want to structure and how we send that out.
There's a real value in educating people and doing it selflessly.
Right.
I mean, who are you going to buy a complex product from? The guy who gives you the hard sell and says you're going to buy it before the price goes up, or the guy who says, well, look, let's see if it helps you. Right. Tell me about your problem, and let me show you what we do and show you how the complex product works. Yeah. And we'll take it from there. Well, I'm a sucker for the latter. I will go for it every time.
Well, it's funny. The note I'd written down before the complexity was scarcity, and so I think
Yeah.
that there's an angle to be had there. Is that, hey, you know what, Keith? This my product may not be for you, and then it's like, huh? Wait, what are you talking about?
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah. Well, scarcity, to get out of the email marketing arena and into my, marketing in general, man, I love scarcity.
right.
It works. It works wonders, right?
Exactly.
If you can make something desirable, if you have a desirable product, putting an artificial limit on it, and not cynically, but saying, well, this is series one. We only have so many. When they're gone, they're gone. You'll have to wait until next month for series 2 or 6 months for series 2, whatever. Man, there's no denying human beings love that. And, limited edition stuff. There's a practice in marketing called bookending, which is very similar. And if you ever noticed, if you've gone to a restaurant and looked at, say, the menu or the wine list, there's a really cheap bottle of wine, and there's a medium priced bottle of wine, and then there's an outrageously priced high bottle of wine.
Right.
Well, the idea of that is to drive you to the middle one, right? They want to drive you to the medium price one because that's where we make most of the money.
Yep.
But there's also an exclusivity kind of thing going on there, right? There are a lot of people who will see that crazy expensive bottle of wine, and especially if there's some kind of messaging that it's limited, the winemaker only sold us 5, that kind of thing, it tends to drive people up to that more expensive item.
Right.
So it's a really powerful marketing tool.
Yeah.
You can't abuse it because people will get wise, and they'll turn on you pretty quick. But if you're honest about it and upfront about it, I think it's a truly valuable technique for marketing stuff.
Yeah, it's a little off the email subject, but kind of on the marketing I think it's the same way when you see on people's web pages. Typically, what I've heard in the past is you have 3 offers. You've got this is the cheap one, do it yourself one. At the far right, you put the crazy expensive one where, I'm going to engage more with you and spend more time.
Right.
Then you have that one in the middle that's just right priced. And, typically they say, you tend to drive that traffic to the middle. So interesting concept for sure.
Yeah. That or the countdown clock, right? You've only got so much time to get this,
right.
Or even just putting a limited time, a limited date on your product.
Yeah.
Can really, really drive sales.
Yeah.
Even if it's artificial.
Yeah. Yeah. So can you give us a couple samplings of your 10 simple steps for the email marketing?
Sure. Let's see here. I'm going to focus on step number 4, which is keep your message simple.
Okay.
Often when people who don't market a lot start marketing for their business, there's a desire, an understandable desire and tendency to want to cram as much information as possible.
Right.
Into my Instagram post, my tweet, and my email. And it becomes overwhelming, right? I know you're excited about it. You've got a great product, you've got a great service. That's wonderful. But we have, most of us don't have the time, the desire, or the ability to read your 400-word email. We're not going to do it. We just see a block of text and we're like, oh man, I gotta get to school. Forget it. Right? Delete. So keeping your message simple, keeping it highly focused on one of the great things about you and your product is going to get you far more results than dumping everything in one email. Right. And what you can do is over time break all those amazing things that you wanted to include in the 400-word email into individual emails.
Right.
That's going to give you a week, a month, 5 months worth of marketing emails, and you don't have to do much thinking about it. You've got point A, point B, point C, and once a week you send an email doing that. And if you have a call to action below that simple message, 1 or 2 sentences, maybe a picture, 1 or 2 sentences of why we're great, and then a button that says, click here to find out more, click here to buy. That's it.
Yeah, and I'm gonna. This is stated as a question. It's not a statement, so I'm going to look for your feedback on it. Is that part of the messaging is we are not trying to explain every minute detail about our product or service. I think the bigger thing is to it's generate the interest, but then have them reach back out to us in order to make that connection where we can have a one-on-one conversation. Is that kind of correct?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I'll get a little nerdy in the book here, and I explain this a little bit, that even the subject line of your email is important, right? That's the thing we see first.
Right.
And it can't be hi there or hey or something vague like that.
Right.
It has to tell me what's inside the email.
Right.
Right. Otherwise, I'm going to delete it. I'm going to go on.
Right.
An old copywriting trick, which I learned from a book about copywriting for newspapers when I first started in the .com world. That's how, what a weird overlap that was, is that if you think about your ad or your, I say marketing email as, a column on a post or a newspaper article, your subject line is the headline.
Yep.
That's what's going to grab attention. And if you look at headlines in newspapers or on articles online, they tell you in very few words exactly what's happening in the article.
Yeah.
And they do it in a way that makes you want to read the article.
Yeah.
And then when you read the article, it's an intro. What I want to tell you, I remind you what I just told you, the end.
Yep.
That's it.
Yeah,
right?
and I think
so
there's
all those
even
paragraphs in an article can be compressed down.
Yeah, and I think there's even I don't know how good they are, but I think there's even some services out there that you can plug your headline in, and it'll return a score, not based on your subject, but more based on the words that you use in that language for that headline.
Yeah. And I wish I could remember some off the top of my head. They're basically keyword generators, and they analyze your headline in your email or in your article and compare that to Google searches and what's popular based on that topic.
Right.
And that way, I haven't used them, but I know people who have and love them. And that's they're usually free. You can Google around and find them.
Yep.
So we're kind of getting into a nerdier area of email marketing. And it's a good thing to bring up, because I want your listeners to know that easy email marketing doesn't get into the nerdy stuff, right? I know that you, as a small business owner or a side hustler or someone who's making something to sell, you're a jack of all trades. You're super busy, right? You can worry about every word in your subject line, or you can get most of it right and send an email that's going to do pretty darn well. Right. And that's the focus of the book, is 10 steps you can read in just a few minutes, get you up and running. And look, if you want to know more about subject line optimization, I'll give you my website at the end. People can email me, and I'll send them some links to some resources there. And there's all kinds of articles online if you want to get really nerdy. My book is to encourage people to start simple. It's the old 80-20 rule.
Yeah, right.
If I put in 20% of the effort, I can get 80% of the result. And for most small businesses, and myself included, that is perfect.
Right.
That's just fine. So
yeah, because I think it can lead us to the analysis paralysis. Sometimes we can get so bogged down in trying to figure out if this is perfect or not that we never end up taking any action, which is more detrimental.
I have a good story about that. Sorry to interrupt. I had a client many years ago, a software company. They did security software. And I would design their emails that went out to their customers, which were all corporations and Fortune 500 companies, that kind of thing. The founder of this company, really nice guy, Nick, wanted all of his emails to have red, white, and blue in them. Really patriotic guy. That's great. But he paid me more money to fuss over switching text from blue to red, to white, to make it look the way he wanted. And I would tell him flat out, Nick, I know it's important to you, and it does look kind of neat, but I sincerely believe that anyone reading this email is not going to matter which order the colors are in.
Right.
They're not.
Right.
Get it 20% right. Just do it in all red, do it in all black. It doesn't matter. Get the words right, and let's send it out. And so it took me quite a while to educate him on that, but he finally saw the light. And you can have a lot of fancy ideas about things, but I like to tell my clients, clear is better than clever, right? Always be clear. If you can't think of something clever to say, just say, hey, we're having a sale, 10% off. Here's your coupon.
Right.
That'll get you huge results. Was that on topic? I might have rambled a little bit.
Yeah, no. I think you're right that, sometimes we can't make up for the quality of content with gimmicks. And so we have to be sure that we
Right,
work on
right.
just getting our message out there. That's what we really want to do.
Right. And it goes back to what you were saying earlier. You've got a full inbox. I just want to know what the darn email's about.
Right.
I want to know what you're asking of me, or if you're helping me, and I want to know what I'm going to do with it, and then I'm gone.
Right.
Keep it simple.
Yep. So that was number 4. Have you got another step for us?
4. I do. Let's go with number 5. Step 5, use a hero image. So that's kind of a nerdy insider term, but you'll notice anytime you get an email from a company, not always, but most of the time, there's only one image in it of the product.
Okay.
Or if there are more images, there's one big image at the top. That's the hero image, and then maybe a couple small ones down at the bottom. And that's a long time practice from the print world. And the idea is that, along with what we talked about earlier, keeping the message simple, you want to keep your images simple, right? You don't need a shot of every angle, for your new tool on a desk and then on a workbench and then on a car. And that takes bandwidth. It's hard to download. No, you need the one hero image, the best looking of the pictures you have. Start with that. Put that at the top of the email. Maybe if you're able to, and I explain how to in the book, you can put some wording on the image. Our new hamburger, or buy one get one free over the tool. Put that image at the top of your email. It is the hero. That's the thing. When people open the email, they don't even have to read your email. Boom, visually they see what it is. They can make up their mind right there.
Right.
And make that image linkable. And your email service will show you how to do that. It's super simple. You just copy and paste the image into the software, or the link into the software. And as soon as people open an email and see a big, beautiful image, and they're not bombarded with, your social media badges and all the other images and stuff, they see the hero image with a simple message and a call to action link. That's the Holy Trinity right there. And so in the book, I show you how a couple resources online. There's one called Canva, Canva. It's absolutely free. You've been there, you know it, so you know how great it is.
It is.
And there are other services like it. You upload your image. You can edit the size. You can add all kinds of bells and whistles and numbers and fonts and make it look really professional. And you can download it again for free. Drop it in your email, and away you go. Your hero image and your email are looking better than 90% of the ones out there. And you haven't spent a dime.
Yep. Yeah, I definitely use that for some email marketing, or not email, but for some social media posts, and also for a YouTube cover for some of my videos. And it's very simple, very simple to use, and you can make a really good quality image. You'd be surprised at what you can do with that.
It's shocking.
Yeah.
It is really shocking how good it is. So I highly encourage, even if no one is going to go do any email marketing who's listening to this, go to Canva, sign up for free, use the free account, and mess around with the images you already have and see what you can do with them. You'd be surprised.
So another thing that I talk a lot about, that there's sometimes there's a little disagreement, but it's I'm not a big fan of stock images if we can take a real image of me, my product, something in real life. But to me, I think that always portrays a much better image. And it's also part of that building that relationship of getting, if I see Keith on that picture instead of a crazy, stock image of something, then, it kind of lets me know who's behind this, personable, or, we talk about sometimes too, if you're a big dog fan, if your dog, you have it needs to be relatable for certain. But, I guess, I'm an old timer, so I don't mind admitting that. But, back in the day, it was button up suit, tie. Don't ever let your personal life seep into this internet thing. This is really controlled. And I think, luckily, we've gotten away from that, because if we're going to build relationships with people through the internet, through email, and that, or that's where the seed or the kernel's planted for that relationship. They need to know who we are, and they need to know more about us when when it's relevant. we don't want to go overboard. But anyway, I'll just get your take on, stock versus taking some
Yeah,
actual pictures.
absolutely. Absolutely. So for anybody who's listening and doesn't know, stock photos are photos you can buy or you can get for free online that are of certain topics that you can use in all your marketing media. So odds are, if you've looked online at a website, you've probably seen some stock photos. Anyone can buy them, anyone can use them. And you may have noticed some used over and over and over again that keep popping up.
Right.
And what you're saying, Roy, is right on. I would, rarely do stock photos as good as they can look, or as bad. Some of them are pretty bad. Rarely do they directly relate to who you are and what you're doing. Right. If I'm having a conference to educate people on how to use a particular piece of software, I may find a stock photo with some beautiful people in a perfect corporate conference setting, all the nice suits and a man on the stage, and it may look perfect. But, is that who you are? It's not you. It's not your audience. It's not where the venue is, the venue that you're going to be using. I totally agree. There are plenty of quick YouTube videos online to show you how to take a decent picture with your phone and tweak it to make it look good. And use those. Personally, and my philosophy is, when I'm buying something, I'm buying it from you.
Right.
I'm not buying it from some vague corporate image. I'm buying it from you.
Right.
I want to know. I know Roy. I know that's his dog, and I know his dog is in a lot of the pictures, and I love it because I'm a dog guy too.
Right.
And I know Roy. Look what he's doing. Oh, Roy's got a new truck at the shop. Whatever. Right. I can see that in the photos. So real is much more important than perfect. I totally agree.
And the other, we'll just relate that back to Canva for just a minute, because the perfect thing is you can upload your own images to Canva. Like you said, you could put your company name, website, phone number. We don't want to clutter it up, but because like for some images I use, I'm able to just put the www down on the bottom, very clean. So the nice thing is you can manipulate these personal shots of yourself to, again, come out with a great message. And
and to put anybody who's listening at ease, sorry about this, but Canva has templates. They're pre-done templates.
Right.
So you don't have to know Photoshop. You don't have to have any graphic knowledge whatsoever. If you want to have a beautiful Instagram post of your product, they've got the template there for you. And some of them have filters on them to make it look even better. Upload it, make it look great. It's going to look better than, again, I keep saying this, but better than 90% of your competitors because they're not doing this, right? And you took 5 minutes to do it, and it's great.
Yeah, the other thing, just as a side note on the whole image thing, is typically somebody owns pretty much all the images that are on the internet, and so some are free, some are not. And the only reason I bring this up is because I have a friend that ran into this problem. She had a website. She'd just been pulling down all these images off of, wherever she found a cool image and pulled them down, and then been doing it for years. And then all of a sudden one day she got a bill for $700 or $800 from Getty Images saying, hey, thanks for using our images. Now here's the bill. Here's the bill.
Right. Well, that's a really good point. Getty Images and a lot of the other ones have got, I don't know how to term this, but basically there's a little something in those pictures that can call back to the Getty computers and say, hey, this image has been put on this website, and they track how it's done. So you're far better off taking your own pictures. There is, I'm going to try to look it up here real quick. I know I've just spent all this time saying don't use stock photos, but there is a great website, and maybe you know the name of it. I can't remember off the top of my head. Let me look here. It has great free stock photos.
Yeah, there's some, while you're looking that up, I was just going to say that, oh, did you get it?
I got it. It's called Unsplash.
Okay.
Unsplash. They're just beautiful, beautiful pictures. They're very particular about who they let put pictures on there, but they're all free. And they say explicitly on them, you're free to use them. So if you have a newsletter going out and it's a product for cats and you don't own a cat,
Yeah.
you could probably find a beautiful picture of a cat on Unsplash and use it trouble-free.
Yeah.
So-
Yeah. And I think there are excellent arguments to use stock photos. I don't want to ever put that message out because they do have their use. I just always more of, if we can do something more personable about us or our product, is much
because
better.
the stock photo is not going to get you that personal connection.
Yeah.
And that's what we're talking about here with email and your social media. It's all about the personal connection.
Right. Exactly.
Give me that imperfect picture.
Yeah. Right. So, do you want to share before we transition? Because I just want to ask you, before
Sure.
we have to wrap it up, I wanted to ask you about a couple of your cost-free marketing ideas. But before we transition, is there any another step or two you want to mention off of the email?
I'll just make one more.
Okay.
And that is, when you're on the email software, MailChimp, or any of the ones that I recommend in the book, and there are many more, you're going to be hit with a lot of different templates that you can use for your email. Double columns, triple columns, fancy stuff, just like you would when you open up a Word document or a Google Doc.
Right.
In the spirit of the 80-20 rule, I will tell you in that book, and I'll tell you now, just use one of them. There's only one you need for all of your emails, and it's the mobile-friendly one. Okay. It's a single column. It's mobile-friendly on all phones. Only use that. For a couple of reasons. One, it saves you a lot of time and headache, because when you get into these fancier templates, things are going to break. It's not going to look good.
Right.
The mobile-friendly one will always look good on a computer, on a tablet, on any phone. And most people these days look at email on their phones.
Right.
Or if they don't, at some point during the day, they're going to look at their email on that phone. Mobile is where it's at, right?
Yep.
I mean, worldwide, I think there are 2 billion people in developing countries who have skipped the entire computer generation that we had been on and gone straight to mobile phones.
Right.
And we're going to find that, and that trend is increasing in the United States and in the Western countries. More and more, we're going to find people who go straight to mobile devices or who give up the computers or limit their daily computer usage.
Yeah.
So that step is simply stick to in the spirit of easiness and having a simple step. Choose the mobile phone template. It'll look great on your computer. It'll look great in Outlook. It'll look great in Gmail. You don't have to do anything. It'll look great on my phone. Simple and effective.
Yeah, and I'm not sure if they provide these stats of who's looking at it and where on all of them, or if that's a step-up package. But what I can tell you is that on one of my platforms that I've used to do a little bit of advertising, you will be surprised that 80% are open from a cell phone. It floored me, but I'm the old guy that needs to be in front of a computer because it's got the bigger size screen and I can actually put my fingers on some keys I don't type well on. But if we think about society and how mobile we are, and when we do things like, if I'm at the tire shop waiting on my alignment or tire to get fixed, that's when I'm on the phone taking care of a lot of business. So even we just have to think about where people are. Even though some people still do have the computers at home, we do a lot of our stuff like that while we're out in between other activities.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely, right? How often do we grab our phone and look at stuff in the course of the day? I'm sure it's hundreds of times a day.
Yeah.
At least mine is. I'm constantly looking at it. And that's a good way to look at it. There's definitely, I think a lot of people are hybrid users, both the computer and the mobile device. Here we are talking on computers. I spend a good deal of my day in front of my large screen computer because I have bad eyesight and I need to see things. But at the same time, like you, when I'm out and about and things happen and I need to get back to somebody, I'm checking my email on my phone and I'm taking care of business. So kind of like the Canva tip, your email marketing service provider is going to have a mobile template that'll get you 80% of the way there. It's going to look good on any device. It's never going to break. You're never going to have formatting issues because it's maximized to look good on mobile devices. Right. It'll look great no matter where it's looking. And that's part of the game. You're busy running a business.
Yeah.
Focus on that template. be done.
Yep.
Get it done.
Well, and you bring up a good point about things breaking is that, we're not going to break anything if we don't do this right. And most of those email services, they have a way that you can send a test email to yourself. And so, it's kind of like the analysis paralysis thing is just get on there and do it. Yeah, you may have to tweak it
Right.
2 or 3 times to get it the way you want it, but you got to start somewhere. So just get on there, create one,
and
send it to yourself, and then you can work on, optimizing it as you go.
absolutely. The email marketing services are very good at educating you and onboarding someone who's a new user.
Right.
And you've hit upon, I think it's step number 8, test your email, send yourself one. So that's in the book too. I show you how to do that. Super simple. Send yourself a test. You can do it multiple times. Click everything, make sure it works. Send it to your friend. Hey, does this work?
Yeah.
Am I missing anything? And away you go. Once you do it once, it's like anything else. I think, as a small business user, you're probably overwhelmed with the thought of doing this. But once you do it and realize how simple the steps can be, if you ignore all the advanced stuff, you're going to be hooked. And see how quickly you could probably literally do it standing in line with your mobile phone. And get it done.
Yeah, and we have to realize, too, it's like anything else. If you go back and look, after you've done this for 10 years, if you go back and look at some of those earlier emails, you will, totally be embarrassed and like, oh, gosh, I can't ever send that out. I can't believe I ever sent that out. But it's just a practice. And what I will say for us, I'm a non-writer. I'm a spreadsheet guy, so I'd rather do numbers in a spreadsheet. And I have this, my expectations of myself is I can sit down at a computer and write out a message the way I want it the very first time. And one thing I've tried to be more aware of myself, and I've realized that I know I can't do that. And so the other thing is, do it and let these things set, send it to yourself, and then, take some time, maybe an hour, maybe a day, whatever, and then go back and look at it, and you will be able to make those adjustments more easy. We just shouldn't put the pressure on yourself that you're going to sit down, write this out and be done and have it right the way you want it.
Yeah. My favorite quote is, a writer is someone for whom writing is very difficult. And it is. Right? It's not easy for anybody. This book, Easy Email Marketing, has probably been through 5 drafts. I had it professionally edited by a guy from the New York Times. He used to work at the New York Times as an editor. And even after editing it myself 5 times and sending it to him, he found all kinds of embarrassing things in it. It's just human nature. It's hard. So I totally agree. Set it, do what you can, massage it, and then, don't overthink it. And I would also add that don't be too self-conscious about the marketing emails or any marketing you're sending out there as far as your writing skills go. Most people think what you're doing by running a small business is magic. We already look up to that. A lot of your customers already look up to that and think that what you do, providing them with a service they can't do or knowledge they don't know, that's magic to them.
Right.
They're not going to nitpick your copywriting.
Right. Exactly.
At all. Unless it's really long and meandering. Then they're going to nitpick it. But other than that, if it's simple and short, nobody's going to worry about it. Just get it out there.
Well, all right. If you don't mind, before we start wrapping this up, if you could, would you mind giving us 2 or 3 of your cost-free marketing ideas?
Sure. And I'll add that at the end of Easy Email Marketing is a link to a free copy of the 15 cost-free marketing ideas.
Okay, great.
It's in there. You can grab it. Or, maybe you'll have the link up in the description of the podcast too. Okay. So I'm going to go with one of my favorites. It's number 8 on the list, and it's let customers know you appreciate them. Right? So often after we make the sale, we're done. Hands off. Maybe they'll come back, maybe they won't. But I'm a firm believer that customers who feel appreciated give the love right back in the form of loyalty. Right. Because they're happy. They're happy you noticed. They're happy you followed up. And we always need happy customers. Right. That's the bottom line. I couldn't tell you off the top of my head any companies that called me after I made a purchase. Even small ones. Right. We have a really good wine shop here, maybe half a mile down the road, run by a gal named Erin. She's amazing. And I love her because when we go in, She does a lot of the things we're talking about. She uses all the information she can,
Yep.
knows what we want. She helps. She's super helpful. We're not pressured at all to buy a bottle of wine. But every once in a while, after we'll buy something, she'll send an email afterward, maybe a week later. Hey, did your guests at the dinner party like that wine? Was it good? Do you want? Even if my friends hated the wine, I would still be thrilled that Erin took the time to email me and ask how it was. Right? That just builds loyalty.
Yeah, I think that's a nugget of gold that we often overlook is the follow up. Even if it's just a one time purchase that they're not going to be purchasing over and over, the referral aspect of our customers, we just can't overlook that. And so
absolutely
keeping in touch with them, following up. And it's funny you mentioned that because I made we bought some little backpacks for my grandkids off of Amazon not long ago for a birthday. And it wasn't through Amazon, it was through their platform, but it was another seller. And the guy actually reached out to me a couple days later and said, hey, I'm just checking in to see, did you get it? How was it? And I sent him back an email. I'm like, well, thanks so much for checking in. I said, you made two little girls extremely happy. They loved them. And he was like, oh, I'm so glad to hear stories like that. But like you said, it was so surprising that he took the time, but I will definitely be a repeat customer because of that.
And here you are telling me about it. You've probably told other people about it. You'll probably continue to tell other people about it.
Right.
And a few of them are going to want to know who this guy is and want to buy a backpack.
Exactly.
It's a no-brainer. It really is. And related to that, I'll go back to I'm going to step number 13, which is go back to old customers who have stopped buying from you.
Yeah.
It sounds hard, and it is. It can be. But I truly think by emailing or calling up customers who used to do business with you but don't anymore,
right,
and in a friendly, unthreatening way, saying, "Hey, can we get you back? What can we do to get you back? If not, tell me why you left, and what can we do differently?" It may be uncomfortable. I've had a few clients in the past who have had to it was a mutually agreed to separate, but boy, you learn some stuff, and 5 minutes of discomfort on the phone with an old customer is going to give you insight that will make your business and your marketing soar for the next few years.
Yeah, especially if we've got employees under us, we can't monitor and don't want everybody to be under our thumb all the time, but we may find a process or something that was going wrong that we have no idea about. So it can help us improve our processes.
Yeah. Let's see. Here's another one. I'll say number 14 is a good cost-free marketing technique. Is put your good reviews front and center on your website, in your shop, everywhere you can.
Right.
Because they're social proof. Yep. We're all monkeys, and we like to do what the monkey see, monkey do. And if we see other monkeys who love your service and love what you do, it sounds simple, but I talk to so many people, so many businesses who are embarrassed to put their positive reviews on their website.
Wow.
Or, they're a little self-conscious about it. I don't want to tell people how great I am. Well, you're not.
Yeah.
Your customers are telling people how great you are.
Yeah.
And if you can get one person to do that, it's absolutely worth its weight in gold. It's social proof, and mouth-to-mouth marketing is the best. Yeah. Everything we've talked about is good. Email, social media, word of mouth, social proof, by far the best marketing out there. Yep. And your good reviews, whether you put them at the foot of an email, right? You've got your marketing email, maybe at the bottom you put, or maybe you highlight some of them, right? Maybe you've got a sale on a product and you put a quote right under the hero image that says, "This is the best gosh darn window cleaner I've ever bought."
Yep. Such
and such customer. And then you've got your pitch, your 1 or 2 sentences, and then a click that's a link that's a click to buy, and away you go.
Yep.
Don't be ashamed of or embarrassed by people singing your praises. It can be much. Believe me, I'm an introvert, and having attention called to me in a crowded room is the last thing I want.
Right.
But there's no denying how much people are influenced by that.
Yeah.
and how far it can take your business and your company.
Right, right. Well, Keith, thanks so much. Again, appreciate you taking time out of your day to be with us. And before I let you go, a couple things. Number one, what is a tool, a habit, a ritual? What is something that you do in your daily life? It could be professional, personal, that you feel adds a lot of value.
Well, I'm going to tell you, I just started this last week. I've got this Post-it stuck to my computer monitor, and it says on it, make one unreasonable request every day.
Okay. Interesting.
And I'm not sure where I saw that. But I tell you, it has really made a difference for me. And the key to this is they're not saying be a jerk. They're not saying be demanding.
Right.
They're saying ask for something that you feel uncomfortable asking for.
Yeah.
Right? Hey, can I be on your podcast? Is an example.
Yep.
Is there a discount for this service? I'm a new business just starting out.
Yep.
Whatever it is. Hey, can I talk to you about your product? Hey, can I ask you a few questions about something? Whatever it is that makes you a little uncomfortable and sounds unreasonable to ask about for you.
Yeah.
Force yourself to do it.
Yep.
Because if you're okay with people saying no and not taking it personally, then at some point, when you do this enough, someone's going to say yes to something pretty amazing that you otherwise would not have asked for.
Yep.
And I'm finding that slowly to be true. It's a challenge. I won't deny. There are days when I want to sit here and drink coffee and work and write, but every time I've done it, it's paid off, and that's the tool I've been using every day.
Okay, that's interesting. It's the old adage: we never know unless we ask. So that's a good one. I like that. I'm gonna mark one of those down myself. So why don't you tell us who's your customer? What can you do for them? And of course, how people can reach out and get a hold of you.
Yep. So my main work these days is I do market research for companies like Nike and banks and Uncle and stuff and Trek Bikes for a lot of their creative projects. And they're doing stuff like that. And commercials, new buildings, that kind of thing. I'm doing a lot of market research for that. But my other half is marketing and writing about it and doing stuff to help people like this book. So you can read Easy Email Marketing for free online at readeasyemail.com. You can download it for free. It's also on Apple Books and Amazon Kindle. And you can find a link there to 15 cost-free marketing ideas, which I'm working into a book at some point too. And you can always find me at my website, keithmonahan.com. And the readeasyemail.com link will get you right to my website, so you don't have to try to spell my last name.
Okay. All right. Great. Well, y'all reach out to Keith. He can be a great asset on your email marketing campaigns, on your regular marketing, and at least go check out the list. They are very helpful.
I'm happy to answer questions about any of this stuff anybody might have, and just say hi. And if you read Easy Email Marketing, let me know what you think.
Okay.
And if you've got a good review to give, I'm more than happy to, like I said, put it on the website and let you talk about how much it helped you.
Yeah, and we'll be sure and put all the links in the show notes as well. So, all right.
Well, thanks a lot, Roy.
All right, Keith. Thank you. All right, that's going to do it for another episode of the Business of Business podcast. Of course, you can find us at www.thebusinessofbusinesspodcast. We are on all major podcast platforms: iTunes, Google, Stitcher, Spotify, and many more. If we're not on the one that's your favorite, don't hesitate to reach out. I'll see about getting us added. So we are also on all the major social media: Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and a video of this interview will go up on YouTube once it's posted. So until next time, please take care of yourself and take care of your business.